Hey kids. All right, so I'm at the shop doing a little repairs, I guess, body work, so to speak, on the dump box for the old Army truck that I take to Joe's all the time. Got a little cancer in it. It's rotted out thanks to Michigan road salt. So what we're doing, got a big old gap here. I've got a strap on it right now, so it's holding it a lot more secure, but before this thing was flopping. Every time I'd get to Joe's to dump, I'd have to undo this bolt to let the tailgate down, then put it back in to run the chain up to it to support the tailgate. That's kind of obnoxious. It's supposed to have a spring-loaded pin. It's supposed to be like this in there so that we can just pull it back, close the tailgate, latch it. Well, once the body started flexing, the pins didn't, the upper pin didn't work, so I had to go with this bolt. It's just cumbersome, and if left tended to, it would get a lot worse. So, got a little window here. I need to use it tomorrow, so why not fix it now? So, I'll give you a little idea what I'm doing. A little heavier material than what we need to have, but I've got this. It's going to go up inside, so behind back in here. I'll weld it down here. I'm going to bore some holes here. I'll probably put 3 holes in it, and we'll plug weld those holes. Likewise, this piece here is going to go inside, so up in behind there. I'll weld along this seam. This is a little heavier material down here. This is angle iron, and it's probably 3/16. And there's a weld here. I ground away the rusty sheet metal, but the weld gives us a little something extra to tack onto. So we'll have a weld along there, and then we'll bore through here and plug weld that, because this sheet metal is pretty weak. It's got a lot of perforations in it. As soon as I start trying to weld along this seam, it's just gonna disintegrate. So we'll come up into it a little farther, a little better material, and kind of distribute that force a little bit. So without further ado, let's hope we have a decent drill bit in here. Take and punch a couple holes in here. Okay, so in a perfect world, we'd probably cut a bunch of this out, but kind of on a little bit of a time crunch here. And the rest of it's rotted really bad along here. It really needs to be replaced or completely rebuilt. That was a little weaker there. Give about a 1/4 inch of extra room here. Just over a 1/4 right there. So there we go. That's what we're looking for. Bad habit, I have a a lot of years of using these grinders, and I would not unplug them before I change the disc on them. That's a bad habit. So I'm trying to be a little more disciplined. I had a pretty good injury about 1.5 years ago with one of these. I was cutting something, the disc got pinched, and my hand was sweaty. I was doing it one hand, holding the object with the other. When the disc pinched, it flipped out of my hand, came across and hit my forearm. So I have a lot more discipline now. I'm using the auxiliary handle, the guard, and I've used the cutoff wheels, and I've probably cut miles of steel with a cutoff wheel and a 4.5-inch wheel grinder. So I'm not necessarily the safety police now, but I'm a lot more conscientious. Because it can go wrong just that fast. I will be using a MIG welder tonight. Because we're dealing with light steel. MIG welder's 20-some years old. It doesn't put out the heat that it used to. So when I'm burning anything over 1/4-inch steel anymore, I just go with got an old Lincoln Ideal arc. It's a what do you call it? Reverse polarity. It'll do DC positive, DC negative, and AC. So it works good. It'll put a lot of heat. It's a continuous duty welder, so you can burn decent sized rod for quite a while with it. Kind of a cheapie. It's a Lincoln Viking helmet. I was never a fan of the auto, whatever you call them, auto shield helmets until my vision started to struggle about 5 years ago. And put the cheater lens in there, and it makes a tremendous difference. May not fit now because that sets in a little farther. So I may need to take, oh yeah. I have to take a little bit of material off. Might as well do it on this side. Then I need to chamfer it because this is a welded seam on the inside. Okay, so we hacked a little, probably 1/8 of an inch off the end. Chamfered it just a little bit. On this corner we did 2. I guess we still got to pop it in here, see if it works. So if I can find that pin, which I don't know where it's at, we'll be back in business. So I am remotely pleased. It's ugly, I will admit that. I may tap that down and weld that just so that there's not a sharp edge. Of course, I had a pretty sharp edge when it was just straight rust too. So. Right there, it's not going to do anything. I'll get some weld across here. It's not pretty, but that's what we got. Where I could find it. Not a bad idea. I have a history of just tearing stuff apart, worrying about it later, and trying to learn as I age gracefully, right? Gracefully is the key word. We are about out of Ultramix. I know this is going to disintegrate over here, but I gotta try it. It's been a long time since that worked, so I am quite happy. Gotta put my hat on because Wyatt will complain if I don't have my hat on. All right, so there we go. that's our project for tonight. Pretty happy. It's pretty sturdy. Until the rest of it rots around it, this should last a couple years, I would think. The rest of the box is so rough. It's days of landscape use are numbered. So anyway, all right. Blessings. Thanks for watching. We gone.